Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week at Everything You Need to Know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news of instability in Europe and big issues in China. But first, the American unemployment rate fell to a 9-year low of 4.6% in November, better than expected, as employers added another 178,000 jobs, making it almost certain that the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates later this month. Across the border, the Canadian jobless rate came in lower than expected as well, at 6.8%. Across the Atlantic, there have been a series of flashpoints and issues. Voting in the Italian constitutional referendum is underway, and early results won't be known until about 11 a.m. New Zealand time. If the Italian government loses, it will likely collapse, and a difficult path lies ahead for both Italy and the EU. And over the weekend, frantic efforts involving a highly complex three-part rescue of the Italian Monte dei Paschi of Siena Bank was underway, with a $7 billion fundraising involving its bondholders, the Qatari government, a handful of Wall Street hedge funds, and the bank's existing investors. Without the rescue plan in place, Italy's third largest and oldest bank will probably be wound down, with all sorts of international ramifications. In Austria, they had a rerun of an election for the ceremonial post of president. The two candidates are from both political poles, one a former Green Party politician, the other a far-right candidate. The result was close again, but the far-right candidate has conceded defeat this morning. Across the border in Switzerland, their third quarter GDP result was released over the weekend, and it was a disappointing one. Growth stalled in the third quarter. In the UK, they're awaiting their Supreme Court hearing on Brexit. The question is, does Brexit need a confirming vote in their parliament? Their government is not confident it will prevail in this court, so it is preparing an end-run retrospective law. In China, the head of their securities regulator condemned barbaric leveraged company buyouts by some asset managers using illegal funds. He said, You've ultimately become a robber in the industry, and that is unacceptable. That is not financial innovation, he said. He was talking to an industry that has grown 600% in just 4 years and is now worth $10 trillion, or 40 times the New Zealand GDP. In New York, the US Treasury 10-year yield will start the week following a good correction after the heady jumps last week, and is now down to 2.39%. Oil prices held their Friday gains over the weekend and will start marginally higher at just over $51.50 a barrel for the US benchmark, while the Brent benchmark is just over $54.50. The gold price has recovered some of its sharp losses last week and is now back up to $1,177 an ounce, a $12 gain over the weekend. And the New Zealand dollar will start the week higher at 71.4 US cents. On the cross rates, it is at 95.7 Aussie cents, and against the euro at 66.9 euro cents. New Zealand TWI index is up to 77.1. I'm David Chaston, and that was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.